Have you ever wished you could go back to your 20s and tell yourself one simple truth that would have changed everything? If I could, this would be the one thing I'd say. After watching this video, imagine a big red button appearing right in front of you. You can press it, if you've got the guts. Because once you do, your life starts changing the very next day. You'll suddenly find it easy to meet women, to talk to them, to build real attraction. Because you'll start coming from strength, not from neediness. See, every book on pickup, every dating article online, none of that ever truly helped you. And I'll tell you why. It's the same mistake that 98% of men keep repeating. Any guy who's been around women for a while, or who just pays attention, knows this. There's one type of man women naturally feel drawn to, and another type they get bored of fast. Let's start with the first. The man women are drawn to is the one who can say no, the man who isn't hypnotized by beauty. He does what he wants, not what she wants. He can tease her, joke around, stay relaxed. He creates an emotional vibe where she never feels in control of what's going to happen next. Even after 10 dates, she still feels like she can't fully catch him, and that mystery keeps her coming back. Now there's the opposite type, the nice guy program. Let's call him the gallant gentleman. He always says yes. He chases approval. He tries to impress her, thinking that's how love works. He avoids risk, avoids tension, avoids leading. He's like a tame puppy. Even if he looks like a bulldog, deep down he's trained. Most men already know this difference. They've read a couple of books and nod along. Yeah, confident men attract women. But the hard part isn't knowing. It's killing that irrational urge to please women. It's like you've got a program running in your mind, an old floppy disk labeled the gallant gentleman. Every time you try again, you just keep reinstalling the same system. You read new books, watch new videos, try a different approach, but the motive stays the same. You still do it to get her approval. Even when you pick up a new disc that says alpha male, you're still running it on the same old software. And here's the paradox. You open every dating book to learn how to be liked, but the only way to be liked is to stop wanting it so badly. Until you drop that need, you'll never grow. That's why so many guys get obsessed with pickup. They fear rejection. Every no feels personal. But the core lesson of pickup isn't about lines or tactics. It's about how you respond when things don't go your way. When I was 19, I started noticing something. Every time I pushed myself to act, even when it went wrong, I felt alive. One night I thought, yesterday's version of me would have chickened out right now, so I went and did it anyway. Maybe it didn't go smoothly, but I walked away buzzing. Because I did it. The goal wasn't her number. It was the feeling of courage. That's what changes you. There's always that guy who asks his friend, "Hey, you're good with women. Could you make that girl fall for me?" And the experienced guy just laughs. "Why would I want to? I'm not out here collecting headaches, man." He enjoys the process, not the chase for validation. He talks to 15 women, connects with a few, has fun, no stress. The other guy? He wants one specific girl to like him, and that's why he keeps losing. That's where every man's journey starts. Letting go of the need to impress. Only then can you build real, masculine qualities. Why does a woman lose interest, ghost, stop texting, Cancel the second date. Because you're predictable. Be honest. How different was your last date from the 10 before it? Coffee, small talk, same questions, no spark. You're giving her zero reason to feel anything new. What she's missing is unpredictability, not drama, emotion. Real emotions come when you understand the routine so well, you can play with it instead of being trapped in it. Once you've been through enough dates, 50, maybe 100, you start to see the pattern. The same messages, the same small talk, the same coffee shops. After a while, you can literally predict what she'll say next, what she'll laugh at, when she'll check her phone. That's when you realize you've mastered the routine. And once you truly know the routine, you can break it. That's what makes you unpredictable. That's what keeps her emotionally engaged. Because most guys are boring. They repeat the same script over and over. Women lose interest not because they're too picky, but because most men give them nothing new to feel. After a year or two of experience, you start noticing the smallest things. How she fidgets when she's shy. How her tone changes when she's genuinely into you. At some point you walk into a date and realize, man, this is actually kind of boring. She's cute, she's nice, but she's not rare anymore. And that's when your creativity kicks in. You start doing little things that surprise her. Not from a script, but from intuition. You say something unexpected, or make a playful move she didn't see coming. And suddenly, she's hooked. Why? Because you know the pattern, and you're no longer trapped by it. You can't fake this. Women can sense imitation the same way a cop spots a drunk driver. He stopped hundreds before. He knows the look, the tone, the hesitation. It's the same with women. The average woman's been on way more dates than the average guy. She's seen every act, every fake confidence routine. She reads your micro-expressions, your pauses, your body language. If you're nervous or desperate, she feels it instantly. So when you go on a date trying to perform, you've already lost. The only way to win is to be real. Even if that means showing a bit of awkwardness, even if it's not perfect. Because authenticity is rare, and that's what gets remembered. Let's say the date's not going well. You're tense, it's awkward, the chemistry's off. You don't want to go home feeling like a failure, right? Here's what to do. A small but powerful move. At the end of the date, be honest. Just say it. You know, I've been watching you all evening, and honestly, you made me a little nervous. You're really attractive, and I think I was trying too hard not to screw this up. So I'm just going to be honest. I want to kiss you. Then do it. No overthinking, no pretending. Just bold, sincere energy. If she smiles or leans in, great. If she steps back, no problem. What matters is that you acted, that you stopped hiding. That experience alone will make you more confident next time. You know, when I was a teenager, there was this old rope swing over a river. It was high, like really high. The first time I jumped, I let go too early, splashed into the water before I even built up speed. Second time, same thing. I thought, maybe if I keep trying, I'll stop being afraid. But fear never went away. So one day I said, determined, screw it. Whatever happens, happens. I held on longer, swung all the way up, and for the first time, I felt it. Freedom. And after that, the fear was gone. It's the same with women. You can't think your way out of fear. You have to act through it, even if you mess up. even if you look clumsy. Every honest attempt chips away at the fear, until one day it's gone. If you're afraid of seeming nervous or insecure, just say it out loud. Honestly, I'm a little nervous. I'm not great at this kind of stuff, but I wanted to meet you anyway. You'd be surprised how powerful that is. That kind of honesty breaks tension instantly. Even if the girl doesn't end up interested, you'll still walk away proud, because you didn't fake anything. And here's the thing. Women respect that kind of courage way more than fake confidence. You don't have to act like someone from a dating manual. You just need to be real, awkward, imperfect, alive. Every time you stop pretending, you become freer. That's the goal. To put yourself in uncomfortable situations and learn to enjoy the pressure. Find the moments that scare you, and instead of avoiding them, have fun inside them. That's how you grow. Not by reading, not by memorizing lines, but by living through those moments. That's the essence of this whole practice. Now, there's another subtle point most men miss. You can actually lead even from what looks like a weak position. Imagine this. She shows up dressed to impress. Low-cut top, heels, the works. You're sitting there, blushing a bit, trying to keep it together. You could shrink, or you could say with a grin, "Do you always dress this bold, or is today special?" Honestly, if I weren't such a gentleman, I'd probably be taking you home right now. Lucky for you, I've got some manners left. You say it playfully, with a smirk, and suddenly the power shifts. You're leading the frame. You're the one defining the tone. Then maybe you add, "Though honestly, you could still tempt me if you tried hard enough." Now she's laughing, maybe teasing back, and you've built tension naturally. That's masculine energy. Not aggression, not arrogance. Just playful dominance. And when she says something like, "Well, not everything has to happen so fast," you can smile and answer, "Of course not." But think about it. What tells you more about a person than seeing where they live? It's personal, comfortable, the perfect place to really talk. It's not about dragging her home. It's about creating emotional depth and contrast. If she resists, that's fine too. The key is that you're comfortable enough to lead. That kind of playful creativity doesn't come from the internet. You can't memorize it. You can only develop it once you've been through enough real situations. Once you know what routine feels like, so you can step outside it. And just to be clear, this isn't about manipulation or getting someone into bed. It's about energy. When you're confident, curious, and expressive, people feel that. When you're predictable, defensive, or overthinking, they feel that too. So the mission is simple. Catch yourself every time you focus on the result. Every time you're chasing validation or trying to impress. Stop. Let it go. Because the moment you stop chasing outcomes, you start living from power. Otherwise, you're like a rookie fisherman who thinks catching a fish is a matter of life or death. He throws the line, sees the float move, and yanks too early. Or he hesitates, scared to miss, and loses it. Meanwhile, the old fisherman sits quietly in one spot. He's patient. He knows the rhythm. And in time, the fish comes to him. That's the difference between a desperate man and a grounded one. At some point, you'll notice you're no longer obsessed with winning anyone. You start seeing interactions for what they are. Moments, experiences, lessons. And ironically, that's when people start gravitating to you. Because you're not trying to get anything. You're just being. Let's kill this fantasy once and for all. There's no single type of man that every woman wants. That idea doesn't exist. There isn't some magic formula, some ideal alpha that 100% of women dream about. At best, you might attract 80, maybe 90%, and that's already huge. And here's the twist. The man who truly grows into himself isn't chasing that 100%. He doesn't need it. He already has what matters. Confidence, clarity, calm. He knows his value. Here's the real difference. The immature man acts like a hunter. He's obsessed with one specific woman, the princess he wants to conquer. He can't think straight until she likes him back. But the grounded man, the king, isn't hunting. He's just being. He's not chasing bees. He's the flower. They come to him because of who he is. That's the mindset shift that changes everything. Now let's talk about the ugliest thing I've seen among men. And it doesn't come from confident guys. It comes from those pretending to be confident. The men who play a role, who fake dominance, who wear the alpha mask to feel important. They exaggerate, they brag, they lie just to feel like they matter. They live off the illusion of being that guy. And that's dangerous. Because when your sense of importance depends on pretending, you'll destroy everything around you just to keep the act going. You'll hurt people, use people, and never be honest. Not with them, not with yourself. A real man, one who's genuinely confident, doesn't need to fake power. If he's not serious about a woman, he doesn't lie to her. He doesn't make promises he won't keep. He's direct. That honesty might not sound romantic, but it's clean. It gives both people freedom to choose. Meanwhile, the fake tough guy hides behind ego. He brags about sleeping with someone like it's an achievement, as if it proves his worth. Imagine being proud because you took advantage of someone inexperienced. That's not strength, that's weakness screaming for validation. That kind of man ends up alone, bitter, and full of noise inside. Even if that kind of man gets into a relationship, he always loses. Why? Because his strength isn't real. When conflict comes, he explodes, yelling, posturing, trying to prove he's in control. But a truly strong man doesn't need to shout. He stays calm. He knows who he is. When something crosses his boundaries, he doesn't argue. He just says, "After what happened, I don't see how we can move forward. I think it's better if we end things here." No drama, no guilt trips, just peace and clarity. That's power. And if she comes back later with apologies, he doesn't melt. He listens, but he knows nothing really changed. He's not addicted to her validation anymore. See, fake confidence always cracks under pressure, because it's based on fear. Fear of not being enough. The fake alpha needs to be right. He needs to dominate. He needs to win. The real man just needs peace. He doesn't care about proving anything. He just lives by his principles. That's the kind of man women feel safe with, and the kind other men quietly respect. This whole journey is about one thing: to be, not seem. Every time you act from honesty instead of ego, you grow stronger. Every time you let go of outcome and stay true to your standards, you win. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to prove your worth. You just live it. That's real masculinity. A lot of guys ask me, how do I tell a woman my boundaries? How do I explain what's allowed and what's not? And my answer is simple. You don't explain boundaries. You live them. If you truly have standards, you don't need to announce them. She'll feel it. Just like you don't have to say, hey, by the way, cheating is off limits. It's implied through your presence and consistency. Real boundaries aren't rules you tell people. They're the energy you carry. If a woman crosses a line and you do nothing, you never had that boundary to begin with. That's why the goal isn't to act like a high-value man. It's to become one. When you truly believe in your principles, you don't need to enforce them with anger or ego. She'll just know. This man won't tolerate disrespect. He doesn't even have to say it. That quiet strength is what women pick up on immediately. There was a famous experiment. They put 5 identical toys in a room and told people, you can play with any of them, except that one. Guess which toy everyone wanted most? The forbidden one. Now, imagine this in dating. When you reach a point where a woman feels a spark, you can casually say, you know, you're amazing, and I really enjoy our time together. But honestly, I wouldn't recommend getting involved with me. I'm not the easiest person to date. You say it gently, even with a smile, and it lands. Because you've just flipped the script. You're not begging for attention. You're calmly signaling rarity. And here's the key. You're not bluffing. You mean it. Because deep down, you know your own terms. You know what kind of relationship fits you and what doesn't. That level of self-awareness is magnetic. You might add, it's not that I don't want connection. I do. But I have specific standards. I'd rather stay single than lower them. You could easily go on Tinder tonight and find 10 guys who will say yes to everything you want. I'm just not one of them. That's not arrogance. That's clarity. It's honest and kind, and at the same time, powerful. Because it's not something most men can say with conviction. This works because it's authentic. It's not about controlling or impressing anyone. It's about being grounded enough to walk away when something doesn't fit your world. Women rarely meet men like that. That's why they remember them. From today on, catch yourself every time you start thinking about results. Every time you make a woman the goal instead of the bonus. Because when you put her on a pedestal, you lose yourself. Be the man who enjoys the process, who leads with curiosity, not fear, who can smile at rejection because he knows it's part of the journey. You don't need to please anyone. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to be. That's when everything starts to align. Your energy, your confidence, your relationships, your peace. Because women, and life itself, are drawn to the man who's already complete. So, what's your move? That big red button I mentioned at the beginning? It's right here. It's the decision to stop performing and start being. Press it. Live from strength. The rest will follow.